You're tuned in to the Cre8 Podcast, where we explore the stories, advice, and insights from well-known and influential creatives in the industry. I'm your host, Cindy Morioki, and this is where creatives connect. Hi, Tracy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to the set of the Cre8 Podcast.
I'm excited to be here. I've been waiting. We've been planning this for
so
forever.
long. I know.
Yeah.
But we're finally here.
Yeah, I'm really
And
happy
you
about
are the last guest of season 1, actually.
Uh-huh.
So you have to end with a bang.
Hey, this one is going to be a banger. I bet.
Yeah, I think it's what people want to hear. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Uh-huh.
So please tell our audience
Thank you so much.
who you are, what you do. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy. I am a digital content creator, and I also work in advertising. Currently a client service director at an agency. I have been in this space for a while. Like, I think since I started working, I just knew I was going to be doing things online, but I didn't know what these things were going to be. So yeah, that's who I am. I am married.
Oh, love that for you.
I'm married to an amazing content creator as well. And I enjoy, what do I enjoy? I enjoy binging on TV shows. I'm such a TV show person, by the way.
Yeah.
I was even thinking I should start creating content on like TV shows, right?
Oh, you should, like a review?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Or maybe just recommendations.
Ah, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, that's me generally.
Okay. So guys, that's Tracy. This episode is going to be a little bit different. First of all, this is the last episode of season 1. I can't believe we've made it to 8 episodes already. That's crazy. Tracy is here. As she said, she's a content creator, but she also works in agency. And you guys have been asking why agencies like this and why agencies like that. So Tracy has volunteered to answer questions, and she has a unique perspective because at least she knows both sides because she's also a creator. So we're excited for the conversation.
Sometimes I also have those questions though.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's no like what's it called, definite answer.
For sure. This is mostly my opinion and also things that I've probably experienced. So that's the point that I'm going to speak from. So yeah, for other people, the perspective might be different, the experience might be different, but I think I'm pretty wise on this topic.
I mean, you've been in the space for a long time, so I guess you have some insight you can share. So
for sure.
We're excited.
Yeah.
So let me ask you how, you said you've been a creator for as long as you've been working.
Yes.
How long have you been working?
Okay, so my creator journey, I would say, started even before there was a creator space, whatever.
Yeah, creative space
or content or anything. So when I was in high school, I used to be very active in this insider things and whatever. And I used to post a lot on Facebook. Does this show my age?
Yeah, it's giving millennial.
It's giving millennial.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I used to post a lot on Facebook. So then I knew, like, there was something here. There was really something here. But then how I got seriously into it is when I started working, I started my dreadlock journey.
Okay.
So I used to see a lot of people online on Instagram just create about different things. And that was back in, say, 2016. Okay. Maybe. So I started documenting my lock journey from when they were really, really tiny. I'll show you the page called Lock Life, and I was very skinny. So that's when I started creating. So that's how many years back? 2016.
Like 7, 8.
Yeah.
Right? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 8 years.
8 years.
Miss him to a mathematics, please.
But then professionally, I probably started earning from content creation in 2020 during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's when a lot of creators, were in their bag because everyone was consuming content then.
Everyone was consuming content. Also, everyone was looking for money.
True.
Yeah. True. So that's when I started making money from it. And then for advertising, I started working in advertising now 7 years ago.
Okay.
I started at Junction Mall in the marketing department, and then later moved to agency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you've told us that you're here in agency and you started earning in 2020.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Were you the one who like approached the brand, or did they approach you?
So luckily, having been in the agency space, I was exposed to a lot of clients who had things going on. So back then, events were also kind of like a big thing, and they needed people to host. There was a lot of, I loved cooking, so I used to do quite a bit of cooking content online for fun.
Okay.
So my first gigs came from the agency I was working from, because I had quite the following. Probably I was at like 10K then, 10K, 12K. And they were looking for people to host events, wine experiences, or there would be this live shows on YouTube and whatever, because back then nobody was going out
outside,
and stuff. So they'd get us to just push the live shows and everything, sponsored by a brand. So you'd get like a 5K here, so that's how it started then. So I was lucky enough to be in that space already, so I kind of knew people who are looking for influencers. And so one random time I got approached by a Kenyan brand, but was UK owned, and they wanted to introduce this healthy meals. It was like you buy the recipe and then you cook for yourself, but a really healthy recipe.
Okay.
And they were like, let me pay you 30K. I was like, 30K?
Wow. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Then I was like, it's COVID. Probably your salaries have been slashed into half. You're working from home. You're bored. I was like, that's a 30K I didn't have. I was really creating then. So that's how I got into it.
Okay, that's cool. So, okay, you've had the pipeline of agency was there to kind of help you transition into the paid creator space. Now, are there characteristics that these agencies look for those who are now obviously not working in agency but want to start partnering with brands? What are the characteristics that you think agencies look for in creators?
So first, I'd say the space has become really what's the word for
saturated?
Yes, it's saturated, but also competitive. The space is growing. When you look at the global market, that's our benchmark. That's literally our benchmark. Every single brand is looking for creators who behave, act like, do their content like other global creators, because they want the brand to look good. They want amazing results. So right now, given that the space is very saturated, very competitive, everyone has a camera, everyone is able to edit. Everyone is able to hire an editor. Everyone is able to do something to make their content look good. So that's the first thing. So they kind of get people who are consistent. Now, obviously, with the TikTok era, the quality is not. It's not everything, but it's everything. Yeah, it depends. It really depends. Sometimes, like, your consistency is what matters, the quality of your content, how you engage with your audience online. You see that thing for when you post something and then you don't even respond to one comment.
Yes.
Like, brands rarely love getting influencers who would not interact with their audiences. So things like that. But then it's also very important to network in that space. I usually tell people, a lot of people DM me and ask me, how can I be able to become an influencer or get a brand? I usually say jitume. Like, if you see an event that is not invite only, there'll be creators there, there'll be brands there. Go start creating, post about the event, tag the brands, tag the creators, interact with them, vibe with them. Eventually somebody will remember and say, did you see that chick who created something? It was such an amazing reel or whatever. So those are the things that I'd say can get you into that space.
I like it.
Sometimes I would also say it's agency people have a lot of work. So you have 10 brands who each want 20 influencers or 50 influencers. So they're gonna pick like the people who first of all like are in their faces. So if you don't create consistently, an agency is not gonna pick. You're not gonna be the first person on their mind. So you have to like always aim to be on people's faces and minds. If you create about food, constantly do it. They will not forget you. The second thing is the networking thing. If you ever find an agency person, just speak about yourself, talk about your content, let them know. And also constantly like even message them or DM them and say, hey, I'm still here. If you have a campaign, whatever. And it's usually difficult to kind of like pick 50 influencers at a go and remember them. And you're a human being who has to.
And you also have other clients as well. So you're also multitasking.
So when you see them picking the same people over and over again, it's also it's difficult like to keep on finding like new. Now where do I find a new person? Like today, an example, we were looking for influencers in the law space, aviation space, and business analysts. Where do we even find those people?
Girl. Law.
What do you even search?
I think I know like one.
Okay, you're gonna give me that.
Actually, I also have one for aviation. So I'm gonna plug my girl.
Exactly this. This is how you'll be able to get into the space. Somebody knows somebody who's gonna plug you into it, because it's difficult to just find a random person from
because that's also, you've touched on something that has been a pain point. So the questions that I actually also shared with you earlier were also from the audience, like from both my personal page and then the Cre8 page. So these are people who just wanted to get more insight. And one of the things that came up constantly was we are young creators, or we're new creators, and we're trying to get into the creative space and have brand deals, but we don't know who to contact, we don't know how to get in there, and then every time we see a campaign, it's always the same faces. You see, so it's like, okay, I'm of the thought that sometimes it can be frustrating, especially also as a creator. Sometimes you're like, I wanna be picked for this campaign, and then you see the people who've been picked, and you're like, this person is also doing this campaign and doing this campaign. And I understand that yes, it's also hard to look for creators. But then also the ones that have those many campaigns, there's a reason that they're being picked over and over again. Like their content is standing out. It's good, it's engaging, as you've said.
Exactly.
And probably even then they've shot their shot, you don't know.
And they usually shoot their shot a lot. Like when you see those creators who have
multiple brand deals,
they're always talking to those agencies. Do you know someone who does brand X? Do you know somebody who does? And they shoot their shot. And they even show them, look at what I did for
brand X.
So it's that aggressiveness is super necessary.
So you guys have had consistency. Shoot your shot like all the time, you never know, and always have those conversations.
One last thing on that point is the agencies are usually not the lasty.
True.
That's also something that people don't know, because the client is the one who decides on who to keep and who to remove. Sometimes we put so many people, like new discoveries, like in our agency we're trying to create a database of influencers who haven't been heard of before and everything. We try and place them in front of the client's eyes, make a case for them. At the end of the day, the client is the one who says yes or no. The client is the one who knows the objective of the campaign at that moment. And probably the objective is not, the objective is I need somebody who can reach so many people, not somebody who's starting out.
True.
So there's so many factors that lead to somebody being picked on a campaign. The agency will just be the middleman to say, here is so and so, this is what they've done. And we usually like tear people. When we're in that boardroom, we put your pictures, your content, your numbers, your insights, if we can get them, your rates, and then we let the client decide. So sometimes they come back and say, no, slash the list by half. I don't have the budget for all of them, but I can do so and so. So those are some factors also like to consider.
Okay, that makes sense, because at the end of the day, you're also reporting to your clients. Exactly. They're the ones paying you as well. So they're the ones paying everyone.
Yeah, they will never let the agency decide.
Okay. Makes sense. That's something I also didn't really know. Like, I just thought, like, when you're hired as an agency, you decide, like, yep, we trust you. No. Go for it, girl.
Sometimes you even go with your list. The whole list comes back like everyone has been
big X,
and the client now has their own list.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be painful.
Yeah, it's usually painful even for us, because we're like, oh, we really selected.
We did all these.
Because also we, as much as sometimes you may plug your friend.
Yeah.
It has to be very strategic to the campaign, because for me as an agency person, my client asks me for KPIs, results. They want to know, you picked this person, why didn't they deliver? And you're the one who said they're going to deliver. So even me, I want someone who's going to make me look good and everything. So I strategically put that person there. So yeah, that's...
Yeah, okay.
When you're creating guys out there, just know it's not just for your audience. There are a lot of brand managers, and they're usually like chini ya maji.
Yeah, you'll see they only have like 10 followers.
They're very chini ya maji. There are a lot of them who are looking at you, how you present yourself, how your content looks, how just generally how you're inspiring people and everything. And at that particular point, when you're on a list, they say yes immediately.
Interesting. Because you've also said, again, you've touched on there's a narrative that agency people pick their friends for these campaigns. And it's actually something that also came up a lot. It's like, is it because they're all friends? Especially because some of these influencers who do these campaigns are maybe in a friend group, and you're seeing like all of them are doing the same campaign for whichever brand it may be. So it's like basically these up and coming creators are feeling very like not defeated, but like it's like
if I'm not in that group, I'm not gonna
it's like, do I have to be in that group to get a deal, or what can I do? Is it I'll never be picked because I'm not with XYZ or so they feel very looked over. Let me say that as I think that's something that came up a lot as well
from the questions and everything. The good thing is there's been a lot of developments in the space as well. Nowadays, a lot of brands pay for platforms that literally kind of like suggest peak influencers for you.
Okay.
But then a lot of the platforms are westernized. We don't have I mean, there's some agencies that are developing interesting influencer platforms that help even with like reporting, so that nobody's ever gonna have to report. Which is, I think it's amazing that we're moving to that direction.
That's good.
But what now, when we get the platforms, yes, it will suggest for you, and it will. Sometimes the platforms are even very, very rigid, such that like they scrutinize everything. If you're a red flag, if you post a lot of like vulgar things, and immediately like a client will say no and things like that. So what those platforms actually do is they can even access your insights, such that you're picked based on you actually have good engagement, you actually have this and that and stuff, and not out of somebody's personal I don't know, opinion of you or your friend or whatever. But why I feel like first of all, and I don't know if anyone will take this badly, I don't think it's wrong to recommend your friend or to plug your friend onto a deal. I have done that many times. And many of them, like many of them. Some, not my friends, some I just know online. And everything. Because that's how life is. I believe, why would you not plug your friends?
That's me. If I make it, everyone has to make it. I'm just saying.
Why would you not do that? And where it becomes unfair is if you're only plugging your friends and nobody else. If you're only plugging your friends and nobody else, then that's now you're being very biased.
Being biased. It's true.
But if you're plugging your friends and other creators, and also making sure that they're all successing and they're all being seen by the brand managers and everything, then that's great. At the end of the day, I've told you, the agency does not make the decision. Yes, they will influence the client to think about you, but the client at the end of the day is the one who will actually put someone on the campaign.
They have the final say.
Yes. I have also plugged my friends very many times, and they've been rejected. Yeah, you go back to the drawing board, look for other people. Yeah, so I think that's the thing. Nobody should feel like it's an unfair thing. Even anyone in this position would plug their friends. It's like looking for a job.
If you know someone,
if you know somebody, you definitely would recommend them for that job.
True.
It's the same way.
And it's not like your friends are not doing the job.
Yeah.
Like you're not recommending someone who has never even created content.
Now that's unfair. Yeah, that's unfair. You're recommending someone who, first of all, hasn't posted in so long.
Yes.
Or even you're recommending someone who does not even fit the campaign.
Exactly.
You're recommending someone in an alcoholic campaign and they don't even drink.
Or
they've never even done even skincare in their life.
Yeah.
And now this is the person that you're recommending to push products that they're even supposed to know, like the
ingredients
and like, yeah, it's okay. You can ask them to start learning about it, start creating about skincare. And when we see you improving in that, we can put you on a brand. In fact, I've told that to many of my friends. You want to be on CeraVe? Start skincare content, because the client will come and see your page and see there's nothing.
Yeah, so you don't fit the brand.
You don't fit the brand. And for brands like those, it has to be very, like, they have to see something that would actually make sense. So if you're in agency and you're plugging people who even like don't match that's wrong.
Yeah, that I do agree is very unfair. Like there has to be some level of, you have to match some way. Yes. Because how are you going to even influence your audience? They're like, okay, now you've started working for this skincare brand. I've never seen you even talk about skincare ever before. Precisely. Even your audience will be confused. Then the campaign is useless, it doesn't work. I do agree there. I also don't see a problem with plugging your friends if it makes sense.
If it makes sense.
I don't see a problem with that at all.
And then plug more than your friends.
Yeah, of course.
There's so many creators.
There are very many. And people who are really doing well, I think they just haven't gotten that opportunity to like show off their talents, or maybe they just don't know how to go about it. As you said, the industry has become like very competitive and saturated, and everybody has a phone, everybody can create a TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and just start posting and go viral very quickly, and you don't know how to even like now move from there. Like I've had people, because I also work in marketing, and sometimes we do some influencer marketing as well, and I've had conversations with creators, and I'm like, okay, we want to work with you, send me your rate card. They don't have a rate card. They don't know how to start with the rate card, and that's also something that's, I think, a pain point for a lot of these new creators.
Yes.
Because I feel like, okay, I had to just guess and just...
They don't know how to cost. They don't know how to go about it.
Yeah, because even me, it's not like I knew. It's just I was advised also by people who worked in agency. Like, these brands have big budgets.
And also your numbers, maybe. Yeah.
But there's no like formula. There's no template. So it's like very hard. And then, so that was also, all these questions, guys. I hope you guys are happy.
Like a question.
It was like, how do you start pricing yourself?
Yeah.
And then there was one who asked me like, why can't they just tell me what budget they have and then I take that budget?
Yeah.
So it's like, why aren't brands / agencies more transparent with the budget that's available? Why do they have
they
that?
Make you go through the work of selling a rate?
Send your rate. And then sometimes you'll find that you're in the same, like it's happened to me before, like I'm in the same campaign with another creator who maybe has less of a following than me or less engagement,
and they're
charging higher. But because I didn't know until we had the conversation, and
everyone is usually afraid to tell each other. Like,
people don't talk about their rates. Me, I'm happily there. Like, this is how much I charged for this.
Yeah.
And then you realize you undersold yourself. Yeah. So it's something that's very painful. It's like, how can I go back and renegotiate? So why don't you guys tell us?
That's a very good point. So first, I had a point on the previous one. I wanted to say, like, agency people should also stop being lazy. Yeah. I won't entirely put the blame on creators. I feel like also agency people are really lazy to look for creators. Yeah.
Okay.
As much as you don't have the time, do that thing of creating a database where you update it regularly. Divide it even into sports, lifestyle, food, mom influencers. Like have that database.
The categories, yes.
And then keep updating it as you find people online. Every time you're online, I'm sure you'll find somebody.
Definitely.
That way, when a client comes and asks you, I want this type of influencers, you go back and you have a long list of people you can actually suggest. So agency guys, don't be lazy. Yeah, because there's also that element of sinichukue tu nani.
Yeah.
Tulishafanya na yeye na itakuwa faster.
It's true. Yeah. It's true.
So yeah, there's that bit. Now on to like the paperwork bit of it. I've been saying for so long that we need like a creator, like, what is it? Union. We need that thing desperately, and we need a space where we can be able to have everything. I don't know if a template can work, but at least a guide where, because everyone also wants to be creative with how they present themselves.
True.
So you can tell a creator that have your rate card starting like this. Have your rate card. Everyone wants to show off, give their insights, a little bit about themselves. Sidri put some colors there and everything. Some pictures. So at least like a space, and maybe this is an opportunity. I don't know. We can talk about it. And see. Maybe it's an opportunity to start doing those guides. Because I feel like I had to learn on the go. Like,
same.
When I was starting, I was taking anything. 5K. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Because you're like, 5K for just posting online. It's true. Then as you go, you're like, okay, I need to be more. I'm like,
wait a minute. You're actually getting so much value from me posting and talking about you.
And you're giving me peanuts.
When I walk around, everyone says, Tracy, XYZ brand or whatever. I'm even like your brand ambassador for 5K. So I had to learn on the go.
Yeah.
And you'd find like my first alcohol brand paid me probably like 80K, but I was doing I was like 80. Wow. 5 reels. Then nilikuwa you're like, I've never been paid like this. Of course, yeah. So you don't see the value on your end. But then them, they're like,
we got him.
Yeah. So we just had to learn on the go.
Yeah.
And now I've become wiser, even just being in the agency side. I know like it's a lot of work to create content, especially if you want me to follow your guidelines, get approval, shoot nicely, find a location, be creative, sit down, think about an idea. So I'd say when you're costing, look at all those factors. So how much time is it gonna take you? What are your resources? In fact, nowadays, like I put in the videographer or production cost in it, like, and you pay the production at cost. Like, you don't even email them because it's a lot of work even for them to edit and everything.
Yeah.
So that's how you go about it. But then for rate cards, there's no particular defined rate.
That's true.
But what I'd say, ask around. Ask around. Don't be fooled. I'm not saying go share the details of your contract or your deliverables, but you can say what you charged. You can say, me, I charged them this, not what your contract says, because also sharing details of your contract is tricky.
It's a breach as well.
It's a breach, yeah. But just say you can. It's like going somewhere and saying, nilibaile viatu, nilinegotiate hadi so tatu or something, whatever.
Yeah.
So talk a lot. Like, if you know someone's on a campaign, even ask them, how do I go about charging this, considering this is my engagement, and then also be honest and truthful to yourself. It's my engagement, this is the deliverables and everything. Then when it comes to presenting your rate card, there's so many templates online on Canva that are free. You don't have to go into the design element and do something really crazy. Mine, I created it on Canva.
Same, girl. I was like, I don't have time for this.
Find a template that you like. Use it and just make it presentable. Put as much details. Like, let them know you, like, who are you, what do you like doing, go take screenshots of your insights, put them there. If you have packages also usually make it easy for the client to decide, just take the first package,
yes,
or the silver package, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then how to contact you, obviously. And then also, if you've worked with brands, put like even logos of the brands that you worked with, just to make it interesting. The reason as to why there are two reasons as to why agencies usually don't give you the exact budget. It's because half of the time they don't know.
Okay.
So half of the time the client knows, but they won't expose the budget to the agency. So they'll come and say, I want to run this campaign, and I want you to get me the rate cards of the influencers. Then from the rate cards, then you guys come back and say, okay, I can see it's too expensive. Ideally, what's supposed to happen is the agency now comes back and tells you, hey, I have, say, 100K. What can I be able to get with that? If it's 1 reel, it's 1 reel. If it's 2 reels, it's 2 reels, depending on now
the person's
rate card, or how, like, the resources you're going to use and everything.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes they don't have the visibility of the full budget. Because I'll come and say we have to 50K. Says that I don't know. I don't know what the client's budget is. They'll just say, I'm working between $1 million or 2 million.
Okay, for all the influencers.
For all the influencers.
Yeah.
So now you don't know whether to get many small ones
or like
one
a few
big
one.
Yeah. So you give them both ranges, and then they'll say, okay, have like 5 top tier 1
tier 1
influencers, and then have a couple of. So then now you have to go back and say, this is the budget I have for the 5 influencers, and negotiate that way. Then you are supposed to tell me what you can give me with that. Don't get into the space of being forced to take deliverables that you can't be able to handle with that budget.
Yeah.
But then there's also a situation where the client tells you, I'm going to give you a campaign for the whole year.
Yeah.
At that you can give it at that point for the whole year.
It's a good deal.
It's a guarantee. Yeah, it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
So you can be able to take the deliverables, spread them out nicely.
Yes.
Sometimes you can collaborate with others. Like, you can make it easier for you. So look at like the period of the campaign. If it's longer, give a discount. Yeah, give a discount here and there. If it's shorter, negotiate on your deliverables. Like, it's a case where you have to be a bit street smart.
Yeah, that's true.
Because even like the agency is also not aware.
Yeah.
Half of the time they're not aware. And even when they're aware, they go to the client and they're told, I want big time influencers and a few. So now you have to work around that budget too. That's why we come back and say, okay, budget yangu ni hii. That's how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes it's hard. I've had I think all types of conversations with agency people. They're those ones who will say, this is the budget and these are the deliverables. And sometimes you're like, those deliverables are many.
They're many.
That budget.
Yeah.
And then now there you have to negotiate, and then hopefully you come to like an agreement, which is good.
Yeah.
And other conversations are like, send me your rate card. And I'm like, you just tell me how much you have, and then I can see. And then it's like, no, you just send the rate card.
Yeah.
Then you send the rate card. And then sometimes you're ghosted. Why do you ghost us?
Actually, I have been ghosted very many times.
It's so annoying.
I think the kindest thing to do is, if you ask someone for a rate card, just even send them an email back and say, unfortunately. We were not able. And even just give them like the reason. You don't have to go deep. Sorry.
It's okay.
You don't have to go deep into details.
Yeah.
But what you can say is either the client budget didn't fit, and they were not willing to negotiate, or I don't know, just give the reason. Because the ghosting, I've also been ghosted many times. You get a call and you're like, oh my God, another campaign.
You're so excited. You even started thinking about the ideas.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's no campaign anymore.
So hurts. Yeah, I think as agency people, and that's something I'm also gonna implement on our side, is if we're not taking on someone, just communicate.
Yeah, it's good, because sometimes you're like, wow, this money can be good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, 1 week has passed, 2 weeks have passed.
Months.
Okay, this is not.
And then you see the
campaign
online.
online. That's the one that hurts the most.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Kumbe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think that's a thing also for agencies to do, communicate.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful, especially if you give them a reason, even if it's not,
Yeah.
as you said, in depth, just to say like the client's
Budget.
or
Or even maybe the content didn't fit. Tell them.
Like, you just
tell
say
them
like the client, or unfortunately it's not a match, like it's okay, because
or
then
how
it helps
they can improve.
because
I don't know,
it also helps the creator now know like, okay,
maybe
this is what my shortcomings, and now this is how I can improve. It just makes sense. Let's talk about payment. I think that one is a big pain point for all creatives. Sometimes when you're working with agencies, there's that grace period. Like you'll get someone saying, we'll pay in the contract 30 days, some 60. I got one for 60 days. I almost died. Well, so and then sometimes you get those big payment grace periods, and then they go over the grace periods. You're literally there fighting for the money. I will explain what happens there.
Let me explain what happens there. So I think initially, as a creator, when you get your contract, there's so many like lawyers even who you can pay like 2K first to go over your contract. Because the payment terms, that's where they include the payment terms. And they can help make a case for you. They can try. Even if it's not a huge case, they can try and even say, can you pay a down payment? And everything. They can try and highlight those pointers for you. And I've seen also cases where they've been able, like influencers have been able to get that. So a lot of people usually don't think about the contract they don't think about it at that contract stage. And that's where people sell their soul, let me tell you.
It's so true. Oh my goodness.
Sometimes I read those contracts even I've read them from an agency point, and that's how like the agency protects themselves, but also you, like, don't indefinitely give up. Like your content can be used on TV, like all those things, like
intellectual property and stuff like that.
Get to know all the clauses. Get even someone like to take you through if you don't want to be passing through a lawyer all the time. Let them explain to you the clauses so that you're able to kind of defend yourself. If you can't pay someone a small fee, there are those who even volunteer. They will tell you, just give me 2K and I'll be going through your contract. It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it. I agree.
Then on payment, so how the agency space works is, the agency operates on credit. So even like on the day-to-day, whatever, and it's all agencies. The client, a brand will come, and even on your day-to-day, after the month is over, the agency is usually paid after 30 days and 45 days. You get? For an influencer campaign, the agency is paid when the campaign is over and they've invoiced. They're paid after 30, 45 days. So they usually give themselves a grace period of those days for the client to have paid. And when the money hits like this, they pay the influencers. That's what happens. So it's usually not a thing where they're just chilling. Wacha tugoje mpaka 45. No. It's because, and I've never seen a client that pays beforehand. Never. Never. Even for those agencies that usually say after 7 days or whatever, they usually pay on like out of their own pocket and wait for
them to be reimbursed.
Some clients even have a period of 90 days to the agency. Others 60, others 45, others 30. It's the same way that they
do it for the influencers as well.
So for them even to pay within 30 days, sometimes they have to go back to their pocket, pay the influencers, then they chase. Like I'm always seeing finance chasing.
Wow.
Please pay, settle this invoice. But I've seen some agencies hack it, though it's usually tricky because some influencers have been known to disappoint and not deliver for the campaign. So when the client pays beforehand, they feel like, where did my money go?
Of course,
so we always have to submit reports. Show that they actually did their content. They did the content to completion. Even if they didn't do it to completion, things happen. They have said the way they will honor maybe in your next campaign. They will do something, or maybe we're not paying them full, we'll pay for what they did.
Yeah.
So at that point, the client then now knows if we had said this is the budget, this is the much we're paying.
Okay.
And everything. So there's a lot of back-end processes that go into it. It's usually not that the
agencies don't.
The agency doesn't. The agency wants to pay, because even them, they want to be paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like a very true depiction of what actually happens. Yeah.
That's so
and it's unfair.
Yeah.
It's very unfair, I understand.
Yeah.
I've experienced this even when it's the client direct. Now when it's the client direct, I don't know. I don't know what the excuse is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the excuse is. I have a client who hasn't paid me for months now. Oof. Directly.
No agency,
and sometimes you
nothing.
even call, they don't pick up, and
it's really tough.
It's really tough. And for me, like, I usually, especially if somebody doesn't communicate, I'm okay with communication and telling me it's gonna take one more month.
Yes.
It's gonna.
Yeah.
But if they don't communicate, then that's when I'm like, I'm never working with this brand again.
Yeah, it's not good.
Or I'm never working with this agency. Yeah, because even the agency, it's upon them to communicate. Yeah. True. Even if it's not yet time and somebody's following up, just tell them you have about 2 weeks, and then 45 days will lapse and your payment will come in. Like, that communication has to be there. It has to be there.
Yeah, communication, I think, is really important, because it's not like we don't understand. As you said, things do happen, even like in all these steps, creator, agency, brand.
Yeah.
But communication is so important. You know, when you're it's painful when you finished your deliverables.
You've paid the videographer
from your own pocket. Imagine now telling the videographer, I'm so sorry, I haven't been paid, so I can't pay you. Like, now it's like trickling down to other people who don't even need to be involved in all that.
Yeah.
And then not being told when you're being paid, and then it's like, how am I fighting for things I'm owed? Like, you know, like, you've done your work.
You've completed, you've submitted your reports.
You've invoiced, you've done everything. And you're still waiting for your payment. It's normally really crazy, because I've also had it with directly from a client. And I remember when I was working, like when I signed the contract, I was like, thank God I'm working directly with the client.
Only they to won't find mess out.
Wow.
Yeah, let me tell you, sometimes the agencies take heat for a lot of things. They really do. Agencies are not mean, and they're not trying to steal your money. It's not even possible. It's not possible. If it's a straight up agency, they have the finances in order, they cannot steal the money.
Yeah.
Or anything. But they usually like almost like the shield that is taking all the heat from what's happening behind the scenes. Yeah, when it's directly from client, I don't know, maybe it's the process, I think, also internally, but from an agency perspective, that's what happens. Yeah. And
then when there's also the misconception, okay, I don't know if it's a misconception, but it might be true, like if, let's say, I've finished my campaign and I've invoiced the agency and they've passed that grace period, then I'm there fighting for my money. Then now it's like sometimes you're blacklisted.
You're cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before. I've seen that happen before a lot. But it's unfair.
It is.
Yeah, it's very unfair. That's somebody's money, and it's their right to come and actually follow up on their money and ask for it. I think the best way to go about it is keep the channels very official on email, because eventually if they don't pay you, you can use that anywhere to get your money. And very polite. I usually say, like, don't, even if the person on the other end is coming on like very rude, just be polite about it, but keep on asking for your money. It doesn't matter. Like, if worst comes to us, get the contact of the person who they report to. Yeah, get that contact and just say, I have been following up on my like, you won't be blacklisted everywhere, and that's also true. That person won't be in that agency forever. Yeah, that's what I've come to learn. People change agencies, and the switch up is usually a lot. It's a lot. Like, people move agencies a lot.
That's true. That's true.
And then today they're handling the account. Tomorrow somebody else will be handling the account, even if they're there. So don't be worried about blacklisting. Yeah, and it's probably haikuwa tu yako, mngesumbuana either way and everything. So don't worry about the blacklisting, but from an agency perspective, if you're doing that, especially for someone who's just following up on
their payment after finishing their deliverables,
it's super wrong.
It's so wrong.
But maybe also something creators can do on that bit of payment is, as they're engaging videographers, either long-term production people, long-term, maybe negotiate payment terms as well with them, because they will understand.
True.
They will probably understand. So maybe try and also tell them to give you some time. Maybe you pay a deposit, and then when you're paid,
you'll pay the rest.
Give them that. I found that like very, very helpful, especially with like our videographer. We bulk shoot and everything, and it's become like easy. So you just communicate and say, give me some time. When they pay me, I'm gonna sort you out.
Because I think we're all going through the same struggle as creatives.
Same struggle. Don't stress yourself.
Because you'll find yourself paying. Exactly. You're in debt and you're waiting for payment that's going to take some time to come, and you don't even know how long that's going to take. But something that you've also mentioned is contracts. And that's something people really need to, like, I am for getting a lawyer or getting someone to explain a contract for you. Because I remember there was a time, I don't remember what brand it was, but there was something in my contract that was like, you have to post some poster, and then they hadn't provided the poster. So I'm like, guys, are you going to share this? You know, we're meant to post. And then we had like a content calendar, a schedule. First of all, I hate that. I absolutely hate it. It gets people.
I usually feel like it's the agency's project. The ways of working to the creators, and it's really unfair.
It's very unfair because I mean, anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. But anyway, I remember the guy was the account manager who from the agency was like, "Oh my goodness, you're the first influencer to ask us about that. Like, when these guys don't read their contracts." And then I realized people really just be looking at their money and then they sign.
They just look at the money.
And that's
withholding or not.
Withholding or not. Is this gross? Is this net? And then you sign. And that's it. You're there. You find yourself, you've been a sponsored ad. You didn't even agree to being but you agreed. You see, you didn't know you agreed, but now you've agreed. You find yourself on the billboards or all marketing materials you didn't even know.
Or in another country.
You don't know. It's read your contracts or get someone who can break it down for you.
If you don't understand. And sometimes they're usually long.
And I think they do that on purpose. They do it on purpose so that you don't, because they know you're not gonna. It's like when you see when you're signing up for something and they ask you if you've read the terms and conditions. I've never in my life read terms and conditions.
They're usually
and they're tiny. I just check the box and I say, okay, continue. But no, with contracts, oh my goodness, you have to read it. You have to read it.
I think so. Every content creator, no matter how small the campaign is, no matter how, I don't know, big the campaign is, just have someone help you. Even if it's not a lawyer, like a friend.
Just
somebody will see something that you probably don't see.
That's true. That's true. And then now for this content calendars, there's something I've seen emerging recently, which is that schedule. The posting schedule. And then I've also seen I don't know if it's the brands or the agencies that want more aesthetic like content or like TVC quality content, but for socials. And I feel like it's a disconnect, especially with, I don't mind high quality content, but when I think about influencing, I think of it as like, this person uses this product and they're telling me their experience. But a lot of the content I see these days is like an ad, you know? Is it that it's what the brand wants, what the agency wants, or what they think the audience wants to see? Because my content doesn't do well when it's like TVC.
When it's like TVC.
People want to see me holding the camera or using my own, you know? So I want to know, is it like a brand thing? Even the scheduling, is it? Because why do they tell me to post on a Monday at 9 a.m. and my audience wants to see it at 7 p.m.? Like, come on.
Okay, so I'll answer it in two parts. So first, the reason why that is usually done is every brand will come and ask you as the agency, tell me how you manage your influencers, because they want to see it. they want to see it done proper. Yeah, so they want to see that you'll make sure they post, because there's been instances of people not posting or just like not caring about the brand and everything. So they want to see how are they going to post, or when are they going to post, or how are we going to make sure they post.
Yeah,
that's why the whole posting schedules came up and stuff. So they're able to see and everything. And sometimes also, if you have like 20 influencers on the brand, you don't want them all to post
at
on
the
one
same
day.
time. True.
And your campaign is running for 1 month or 2 months. So what you're gonna do is you're going to spread them out across the weeks and everything, which makes sense, honestly, for the brand at that particular point. Because if everyone does week 1,
then it's over.
So basically the rest
The
of
campaign
the
is done.
and then you have activities. You have activities that you've lined up, an offer next week, award next week. So it's usually aligned to the campaign and what you want to achieve with the campaign. What I usually don't advocate for is saying the specific day and time.
Yeah.
So if you can do it in weeks.
Yeah.
Week 1, so and so.
Yeah.
Week 2, this one. Week 3, this 3. So the time is should be dependent on when your content performs really well, or when there's a lot of also energy, and there's a lot of things that go behind content that people don't know.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the right space also to engage with people. If it's within that week, then you can be able to do that. So I'm for the schedules as well, but not
like specific to
specific time and whatever.
I think the time is the one that throws me off,
Or even adding stories to the schedule. Like I don't understand, because stories are supposed to be organic and on the go.
True.
And so when you post story 1 today, okay, post story 3 next week. Like what is it aligned to?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be doing it very organically. So there's that. And then now when it comes to from the creator side, you should be able to what's the word? Not fight back, but defend why you do not want to do it at a particular point. And it shouldn't be because I just don't want to. There has to be a reason as to why you don't want to post at Monday at 9 a.m. And just justify it and say, my content will not do well. You'll not get engagement. Suggest, like, how about I do Friday
at this time, or this day at this time,
Friday evening, and don't even say I don't want to specify the time, but let me do Friday evening, and let's see how it goes. Or you can tell them we can do Monday, and if it doesn't perform well, we do another day for the next post or whatever. Like, get into that space of don't take just anything, because they've gotten you because they trust you.
True.
They trust that you know your stuff and that you know how to jipanga. So defend yourself, justify, and make them see, okay, I actually know what I'm doing. Yeah, so that usually helps. And then when it comes to the quality of the content, sometimes from an agency perspective, when we're pitching for, say, a campaign or business, we usually have the idea already set.
Okay.
So we pitched you because probably we want to host a client here on your podcast, or we've pitched an idea end to end. So we'll pitch the idea as well to you. If it aligns and resonates, if the client is providing the budget for a TVC, whatever, sometimes it's usually just to see how the campaign can be pushed in a different way.
Okay.
There can be 2 angles, There can be that angle where you do your content the way you're used to doing it, and there can be this angle where we want you to collaborate with the brand to create something.
Yeah.
We want you, yes, you're going to be the one doing it, but we want something different, but your style, but different.
Okay.
So sometimes they have that expectation of it won't do as great as the content that you're used to, but they will even post it on their page probably, and it will make their page look good, really good. So have that in mind when you're quoting for it. It's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing when sometimes you venture and do something different because a brand has a brand has
expectations,
this idea and they've given you the idea. Most of the time they've already pitched it to client and the client is like, I love that idea, let's try it out. And it's trial and error. No, you can never know what audiences want. Today they like it, today they don't like it.
It's true.
So, but also learn to justify again, fight back and say, I don't think it's gonna work, and then give a solution. Just don't say I don't think it's gonna work and
leave it at that.
Say, but I think
if we do
this idea is gonna work better.
Yeah.
Why don't we try this idea? So, and they're always willing to listen. Yeah.
Because I've also seen that. Okay, back when I started, which was also like COVID times, there was no such thing as. Or rather, the brands I worked with didn't need me to send in the content before I posted.
Yeah.
There was no approval needed.
Yeah.
Now approval is a very big thing.
It's a big thing everywhere. And the reason why it's a big thing is because of quality standards and also just maintaining the brand image in a very good way. Especially like a lot of these brands are looked at globally and you can't be representing a brand in a ratchet way.
That's true.
And sometimes like for you, you're used to shooting that way, like dressing that way or looking that way or speaking that way.
Yeah.
But if it's a brand partnership, the brand cannot be represented in a way.
Yeah.
The brand can easily be cancelled. The brand can easily like lose credibility. So over time there's been guidelines that have been developed which I think are very important because right now something small, something sensitive can easily like
throw it all off. Like
your brand will go into shambles and people will never. So that's the reason why the approval process is necessary. Also, if some people usually either don't listen in immersions,
that part
they don't read the campaign brief, they shoot their own things and
it doesn't
they send
align.
the content for approval.
Yeah.
They post.
Yeah.
And when they send the content for approval, the client is like, you've actually not
understood anything.
Yeah. So hata sisi pia si ujichomea. Yeah. So when you go for those immersions or whatever, listen, write notes, ask questions, or even if you didn't understand, go back and ask the agency, is it okay if I do this and that before you shoot, before?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the approval process for brands is kind of like very important. Yeah, because I've seen very many cases of people misrepresenting the brand.
Honestly, I've seen it too. I don't mind approval. I actually think it's better. And what you said, sometimes if I have an idea and I'm not too sure, I'll just ask the account manager before.
Yeah.
I'll be like, this is the idea I have. And
what do you think?
Yeah. Do you think it's going to work? Can I shoot? Because what you don't want to do is now shoot. Now you're being told sorry. Yeah. And you have like now a whole production and you still have to pay the production team for what they've done. And I've seen also on campaigns that I've worked on with other creators where I don't know if it's that they didn't listen or they didn't care. Then you see the content.
What are they doing?
Sometimes I'm just like, were we in the same meeting? Were we in the same room? Did we listen? And you're like, wow, this is so, like, it's a proper mismatch.
Yeah.
So I do understand the need for
the approval.
The approval, I'm an advocate for it because I wouldn't also want to misrepresent a brand, because now if I post content that doesn't work, then they're like, maybe we shouldn't work with this person again. You see, so you're also really like ruining your opportunities for yourself. So it makes sense.
But then to my earlier point, defend your ideas. One thing that I've seen with content creators is we're so shy and we're afraid. If an agency or a client comes and tells you, no, this doesn't work, if you really feel like this works and you've seen the vision and you've seen how people are gonna interact with it, try and defend it with
good reason.
Facts. With facts. Just say, okay, I think this is gonna work. I have answered your brief here, and here. Okay, I can tweak it like this a bit, but I think it's gonna work. Learn to let them know that you've actually sat down and really thought about it and really thought about how their brand fits into your life and your content and everything. And they appreciate that. They even think, okay, this person is really thinking about my brand and how we can grow.
I think it makes sense, because even at the end of the day, and as much as the client, the agency has a vision, they also don't understand your audience the way you do.
It's true.
Like, it's
you're the only one who can explain that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you know that your audience likes this type of content and they like it when you do this or that, it's worth explaining that. Like,
Exactly.
you say, this won't work because my audience does not even understand XYZ. They won't like it. They like this, and that's why I'm doing this, and we can find like maybe a middle ground and then work from there.
Exactly.
So it makes a lot of sense to fight back. I also agree that
fight back,
I don't fight back.
Me,
okay, like now
before.
I do.
Yeah.
Now, but before, especially with my first campaigns, like, yeah, you just tell me what you want me to do and I'm gonna do it. But now it's like, okay, I think I've seen this is not gonna work, because I also don't want like content that doesn't align with what I do,
what you do and everything.
My audience, I want like to have, I have a standard now. Before I didn't have standards.
Yeah, because when they've actually picked you, they've thought about it.
Yeah,
they've thought about it. They've loved your content. They've seen how strategic you are. They've seen how like people love your content and everything. So even when you're justifying or fighting back, they know, okay, Sawa, who you are. They know what they're saying. Yeah. And then one more point to just add on to that is, whenever you get like one brand like this, and then maybe they keep quiet or they have no campaign, pitch to them ideas. See, now you have the contact of the agency and whatever. Do a proposal. Do even like, don't complicate it. Say, I wanna shoot this idea. I was thinking of featuring your brand. What do you guys? So that way they'll be coming back to you more. I've seen that happen quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've seen a brand like support a whole podcast and go on their campus tours out of an idea they pitched from our first campaign. And they went and they really pitched and pitched and they didn't give up. They pitched like for 2 years or a year, if I'm not wrong. And when it materialized so well. So when you work with a brand, start thinking outside the box of what more can I do with this brand? What more can I create? Even the smallest of things, That way you can be able to make more money, grow with the brand. True.
But shooting your shot is important, and we've had this conversation with Stephanie Ngang, and she was saying how she used to shoot her shot a lot, and then you'll find they don't have campaigns running, but then now they come back to you like later. So it's always important, even if it's not now, in the long run it could pay off. So and there's no harm in shooting your shot, like the worst you can be told is no, and then like what have you really lost? Nothing. Because if you kept quiet, maybe they would have said yes and you just kept quiet, so now you've lost out on an opportunity. So shoot your shot, guys. Maybe I can ask you, when you're looking at these reports, because I'm assuming after the campaigns are done and you've asked for the reports, you also go through them before sending them to the client. Are there very important metrics now that you look at? What are those metrics?
So you're right, we do look at them before we share, and we do have to compile them, because we don't share one by one to the client.
Okay.
But we have to include everyone's report in the report. So we'll include a lot of details from what you've shared when we're sending it to the client. So first, like, reports are usually a very huge pain point for me, because like some people just do rubbish.
I've seen a lot of now agencies give you a template, because they're like, I don't know what you guys are giving us, just follow this.
Because somebody will just put for you a link, or they'll do it on Word. The same way you're creative with your content, be creative with your report, because you're literally defending yourself. You're jittertaying. You're saying like, this is why you should work with me again, and this is why you should work with. This is what I did,
and these are the results.
So importantly, you can just give like a brief whatever of what you understood about the campaign. So this is what we were doing, these are the deliverables. A key thing to note is what you've been able to achieve. So if you are doing, say, 2 reels, 10 stories, whatever, write what you achieved. If you did 26 stories, put there 26 stories. If you did whatever, if you did a value add here and there, add it. Then we look at reach. Look at reach quite a lot, because it shows the length as to which the content like went. Like how many people were able to even just see the content. We look at impressions, because these also tell us like how many times like somebody was able to
come back
and see your content again, or just see and play it, or we look at impressions. The other thing is engagement. So your likes, your comments, your shares, your saves, and everything, because it shows us fast. People really loved your content. Then they commented, and then they moved even further and shared. And then they moved further and said, let me save it for later.
Come back, yes.
It shows like the process that went into it. So when you're putting your screenshots, make sure at least it captures those ones.
Yes.
Your reach, your impressions, your engagement. And then it's also good to, I usually have a calculator on the side where I totally tap. So if it's for the reels, I total up the reach for the reels, the impressions for the reels, the engagement, the total engagement for the reels. And on that slide that you put, like I did 2 reels, you put there, this reels achieved 300,000. Like those numbers impress the client. These reels achieved 300,000. The impressions were 200,000 or whatever, or 20K, or the engagement was this much. So that helps. And then we go to statics. Just make it systematic. Finish up with the reels, go to the statics, then the stories. And for the stories, the same. We just put like this, even if it's the screenshot of the story and the one that has the engagement. Then totally tap. Then I usually have a slide. This makes it easy for the agency to just see. Usually have a slide that says over 100K, 200K plus impressions in a big bold font.
I got you.
Font 40, 50, 100K plus impressions. 200K plus reach. And then there's a calculator that I use for engagement, which if say reach is 100%, then what's your engagement? So you just multiply engagement times 100 divided by the reach. It gives you I even have a link. I think I'll share it with you so you can see.
Put it in the description.
Put your engagement rate there, and you put the source as to where you've gotten that information, and it says 9% engagement rate, because any engagement rate above 5% is high, or 3%. It's really high. So you put that, because it's literally you saying, see what I did, and then after that, those are the metrics we look for. After that, like put some learnings or opportunities. Opportunities for the next campaign. It's like you're even telling them, so next time we do this instead. Next time have an event. Next time things that you think maybe need to work, write them there. And then opportunities. What opportunities do you have? Next time we can do maybe more content, or let's not squeeze in the content.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that helps.
Those are things I mean, I've learned something new. I'm going to change my report today. Okay, that's I hope you guys are learning. This is a very educational episode. How do you see the influencer landscape progressing in the next couple of years?
So it's going to be interesting, because now there's a lot of technology and stuff. But what I know is you can't entirely replace the human touch with technology.
True.
So I don't see the influencer space fading away completely. What I see is a lot of people using technology to just advance their content, to make their content really amazing and stuff. I see it accommodating a lot more people, because like for TikTok now, we have creators from all over the country.
True.
All over the country. Bundus, here, wherever region,
you are.
And we have creators who do everything. Like everything and anything. Now, like a few years ago, dance wasn't
a very big thing.
Now, like
it really is.
Dance content and dancers are being used for campaigns in a very huge way. Right now, if you release a hit, if it's not on TikTok,
Is
People
it really
don't
a
know
hit?
it.
Is it really a hit?
Is it really? If there's no challenge, I don't know, man. Like,
actually, it's a very good. I think that's
Yeah.
a really like a brilliant marketing campaign that I see some brands doing these days. Like you get a big dancer to like create a challenge, and then it goes viral, and now like your song or whatever is a hit, your business is a hit. It's really smart, actually.
Yeah, and so I think it's gonna evolve in the same way. Where we are right now is not where we were a few years ago, and it's gonna evolve. And my only advice to creators is evolve with it. Yeah, don't be stuck to the old. Like a few years back, blogs were the in thing. Yeah, and our biggest creators were bloggers.
Yes, that's true.
And all of us used to want to be bloggers. Right now, like,
anyone.
I don't hear so much about blogs.
Yeah, that's true. But they're not as big as they used to be.
But now everyone is consuming like quick video content.
Short form content.
And if you look at the bloggers from back then, even the Kenyan bloggers, they've evolved.
True.
They have evolved. Even them, they're doing like interesting content. Some are in podcasting. Some are like they're evolving with the times. So I'd say don't be stuck to what you're used to. Make yourself uncomfortable. Keep on researching. Grow your skills. Because you can never grow if you're not constantly like looking for what can I learn next?
That's
what
true.
skill
What's
can
next?
I be able to improve? Otherwise, like utabaki nyuma.
It's
like,
so true, and life will just pass you by.
It will pass you by. Look at like artists who used to sing like when we were growing up. Some are still with it now. Some you don't even know
where
whatever
they are.
happened to them.
Yeah, it's
and
so
everything.
true. Yeah.
Or some release a hit now and you're like, kwa nini wa wapi?
Yeah.
Bado uko.
Yeah, or it's like the old sound still, and
Exactly.
you're like, we are different now. It's yeah, it's true.
So even if you're doing things your own way, look at how you can make them interesting. Look at how you can research a lot. Me, I'm always researching, reading articles, listening to podcasts, having benchmarks of like essay content creators.
They're doing amazing.
They're doing amazing and they're being paid they have like
Those
houses.
budgets are big
everywhere, and that's why we should aim to be.
True.
Have benchmarks. Like look at like vloggers and stuff from the States and everything. Start like, I'm not saying like, I mean nothing's new under the sun. You can recreate the same thing, but learn, recreate. Like, let me tell you, I usually even pick content online and I'm like, Kagiri, let's recreate this but in our own way.
Yeah, put a spin on it.
Let's put a spin on it. Like, there's nothing new under the sun and it's not wrong.
True.
Do that. Like, keep on researching, keep on growing, keep on moving with the times. Like, usiachwe nyuma as a content creator. Who are you going to speak to if you're still, stuck, not doing anything and whatever? And then also like, interact with creators. You cannot be a creator and you're in your own bubble and your own island and you're not learning what other people are doing. Every time we go for a creators thing, I ask people questions. So what are you doing now? How is this brand working for you? And I learn so much. I'm like, hey, tomorrow I'm going to switch up and I'm going to
this. It's good.
Yeah, we move with the times. It's gonna be interesting. Like there's gonna be a lot of money circulation in the influencer space, because now I've seen a lot of brands move away from spending on TV, spending on radio, and using podcasts a lot. Using podcasts, in fact, on a lot of pitches that we do. I usually don't see radio.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Even
out of home is like, it's not as big as it used to be. I've seen brands reduce their budget for out of home then now put it into influencer marketing.
A lot more. So that's an opportunity there. That's why as a content creator, you need to start pitching those ideas to anybody. Anybody you find who is a brand owner. I have this idea for you. I think it's going to be amazing for your campaigns. So right now, a lot of budgets are moving away from your out of home and whatever, because they've seen influencer marketing actually works. And it's actually, transforming how people think about brands, how their spending habits and everything. So there's going to be an opportunity there. I know it's been a tough year.
Definitely.
That's why probably budgets have heavily reduced everywhere. But when things pick up, and as things are picking up, there'll be an opportunity there to make some good money. So I think we should really think about how to strategically place yourself in a place where you can get money and how to like think about those ideas, be that creative. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's actually the last question I was going to say is give some advice, and you've given the best advice. Yeah, so guys, I hope you've learned. Thank you so much, Tracy, for being our last guest and being such an insightful guest. It's been a pleasure. It's been a very great conversation. I've definitely learned a lot, and I know the audience will as well.
Yeah, for sure. So you're gonna have me back?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I'll have you, because now I'll have you as a creator, not even as a marketing girl. We need to learn your story. Yeah,
no worries at all. I'd be happy to come back.
Tell the audience where they can find you online.
So you can find my handle is at Miss_Gachie on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, on X.
On X.
Yeah. So basically that's where you can find me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you.
So guys, that was Tracy exclusively here on the Cre8 Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into season 1, and we'll see you in season 2. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Cre8 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update. Like, share, and comment whose story you'd like to hear next. And in the meantime, you can vibe with us on all our social media platforms at the Cre8 Pod. Remember to stay creative, and I'll catch you in the next one.